Yes.
All right, Paul, what about you? I'm sure I get a raw deal from life.
I changed a lot of my answers. I had false, and then when I was driving here, it took me an hour. I'm not getting paid for this. I changed it to true.
And Nathan, you and like Paul, it took you an hour to get here, but of course that was just
He lives upstairs.
I'm gonna go with false. I feel completely blessed. I'm white. I'm young. Things could not be better.
good point.
You're a great father. He's a good role model.
All right, here's one for you, Nathan. Another true. I have masturbated in public.
Well, I think with this one, we have to concretely define what is masturbation. Have I stuck my hand down my pants just to loosen things up? Yes.
It depends on the degree of loosening.
Has my hand kind of lingered there for too long afterwards? Yeah.
Like too long afterwards, like what, 10, 20 minutes?
Was it in a park? Maybe. But, no, I'm gonna go with true. Fuck it. Yeah, I have. Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
I have a good masturbation story if you want to hear it. You want to hear it? Well, I'll do it after the thing. You want to hear it now?
Yes.
This is from when I was working at the Lynn Item, and I had we had the overnight shift on Saturdays, and I would work the overnight shift. So we would finish. We would finish the paper, putting out the paper at about 7:30, and it was me, and it was a couple of 20-something interns, female, and another guy who was the news editor. I was a sports editor, or at least for that day. And anyway, so we're all fairly young. We finish around 7:30, and the item. We're on the second floor, and we look down, from our window, we can see the bus stop, and there's some guy behind a pole looking at the people at the bus stop, and he's hidden behind a pole, and he's pleasuring himself.
Yep.
All right, not the way that Nathan describes, but he exposed himself to the elements as he exposed himself. But he was looking around the corner. So I said, anyone would have in that situation, from the second floor, looking down at the guy, "Hey, come on over. You want to see something interesting?"
Breaking news.
And so the two young women, and we were all young. I mean, we were all pretty young back then. They came over, and we all, the four of us, watched the man. It was like a Russian doll, but we watched the man watching the people at the bus stop while he pleasured himself.
I'm going to tell you, it's more common than you would think. I can recall a lot of calls of stuff like that. People more in their cars, parked in a parking lot, overlooking like the beach, or female joggers or something like that. Absolutely.
Is that illegal?
Oh, absolutely. It is, Paul.
You're in a car, though.
Wait,
why? No, I'm asking why.
Yeah.
Well, it's an excellent.
Because if someone sees you, it's because they're looking in your car. You're not inviting them.
If no one sees you, then there's no victim. If you're masturbating by the beach and you're in your car and there are female joggers walking by,
which is, I believe, based on Fox News, that is your constitutional right.
It's illegal.
What I'm saying is, let's say they can't see you unless they come up close and look in. That's not your fault, is it? Legally? Not that I do this. I'm just curious.
That's a tough one. Someone walked up to your car and seeing what you were doing.
Yeah.
If you pulled way over to the side. Yeah, we've had cases like that, and people have tried to use that excuse, but they still were arrested. Really? Now, whether they get thrown out in court's another scenario. But the one that's more dangerous to the person is someone who's actually just doing it in public,
right,
at the park when there's kids, or girls at the cheerleading at a high school, and there's a guy on the swing set jerking off. We've had that before. Those are the more dangerous situations. When you're talking about, Paul, you should be fine. You'd be all right.
Can I just show you my car before I go?
Yeah, I'll send the car out to the guy.
I want you to look at the sightlines just to make sure I'm good.
All right. So under Paul, we'll put true. Paul, you ever masturbated in public?
Another one where I glanced quickly and I thought it said pubic, so I said true, and then I realized it's public, so yeah, false. Absolutely false.
All right, because you were in your car and you have an expectation.
Because I thought it was illegal. But now I know.
All right, and so Dale?
False. Pretty much false, yeah.
Pretty much. I think he has a masturbating story too.
False.
All right, let's go to the next one. Once in a while, I think things which are too bad to talk about. In fact, I'm thinking them right now. Once in a while, I think things which are too bad to talk about. Dale?
Yeah, I'd say that's true, but nothing like I said, I'm not going to go wipe out a school or a movie theater and something like that.
Well, what is it?
I don't even know.
What do you think that's too terrible to think about?
I'd like to punch that guy in
about?
the face or something like that.
That's...
Or I'm with my wife and we're hiking in New Hampshire, and I'm like, I'd like to push her over the cliff.
Yeah, you don't...
Just stuff like that.
You don't mention that to her? This is so interesting.
She signed a discllaimer, though. Remember?
I remember that.
Yeah, she signed a disclaimer. If she ever accidentally dies during our marriage, her husband didn't do it. It was an accident.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Can you forward me that paperwork?
All right. Once in a while, I think things that are too bad to talk about. Nathan.
More than once in a while. Almost constantly.
Anything you want to share with us?
It's too bad to talk about, so I can't. It's right in the question.
I know, but I was just trying to get you loosened up and get you to... Fine. Paul, how about you?
Yeah, I'm on the false side. I'm not going around with... I tend to... Devil's on one shoulder, I'm looking the other way. I don't listen to the devil.
Oh, you don't listen to... I would be false with you, and I'm saying this because if I'm ever up for a murder trial, just remember I said I never have thoughts like that, and I told all three of that right here in the podcast. And I have a list of people that I didn't kill and that I've never thought about killing. During a period in my life, I have engaged in sex with someone of the same sex. I think this is a really interesting one because, are they just trying to get you to tell the truth? Or, let me read this to you again. During a period in my life, I have engaged in sex with someone of the same sex.
Yeah, like homosexual male sex or something like that.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Especially when you're like 12-year-old. Come on, Dave. This 12-year-old kids all sleeping over at the Rattigan house, having a little tickle party.
You're projecting.
There's nothing wrong with that, Dave.
I read this too literally. I said false. I'm a guy. I don't have periods. But I guess I missed the boat on this. But that's a discriminating question. It's none of their business what you do with your sex life.
Yeah, I don't.
Really
Those were just. I went out there and I got a whole bunch of test questions and I
from
picked
when?
the ones.
From 1968?
But you agree with me? I feel like...
yeah, I don't think that has... I don't think so. Maybe in the military that do not... what's the...
I had somebody that I knew who was looking for a national security job, and she said that they gave her a test that asked questions like, have you had sex with all kinds of
multiple
questions.
Partners and all sorts of stuff.
Multiple partners, goats, the whole deal. And she said the reason was because... the idea was they wanted to make sure you were being completely truthful with them. So they were really invasive questions. But this one strikes me as one that would be, I don't know. I don't.
Maybe the woke mob should get a hold of this test and they can rewrite it.
Oh, they'll rewrite the entire thing.
Rewrite the whole test.
They'd rewrite the entire thing. All right. So during a period of my life, I have engaged, Nathan, you're an actor, so that's a true.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And Dale, what do you got here?
Nothing I'm going to admit to on this podcast.
Okay, so we'll put that as true.
Negative.
We'll put that as a true as well. When you were in the Marines guarding, where was the embassy?
Oh, we had Cairo, Moscow, Poland, Germany.
All right, so
which one?
I should write true 4 times.
Oh, yeah, true 4 times. I love those Egyptian guys. It's just so hairy.
All right, Dale, I know what your answer is going to be because you've been in the military and you've had bosses for police that you've talked about. But I'll go to Paul with this. Paul, I have been instructed to do evil things.
That is false. I've done evil things, but no one told me to do it. I told myself to do it. I don't take orders from no one.
I'm not sure if that's true because I dared you to do something in Portland at the hotel in Portland. Do you remember that?
No, would I pull a fire alarm or something?
No, it was something about you yelled something into a conference full of orthopedic surgeons, chiropractic rules. But
that's not evil. That's just pranking.
All right, fine. All right, I take it back. What about that dead body? No. All right, moving along. Let's see. Nathan, how about you? I have been instructed to do evil things.
I would love to know, by who?
Well, I was instructed to do evil things by editors.
I'll say true. I'll say true.
It depends on who the boss is, but yeah. And Dale, I know you've got one. You've had military. You've had people who've outranked you in the military. You've had people who've outranked you in the police.
You never did anything evil.
I've been instructed to do. You never did anything evil?
Evil to me is like almost like death, like violence. I've never been instructed to be violent.
Fine. False. You know why? You know when you would have done something evil?
When?
If you had been in journalism and you had editors. so true. I'm sorry, Paul. Did you say false?
Yes.
Okay, two false, and a true. And obviously, the other thing, as an actor, I'm sure you were instructed to do evil things by directors, choreographers.
You want that movie role, don't you?
The right answer is: are you looking for more trues, and that means you're more...
I've got a system.
Yeah, Dave has a system. Oh, he's got a system.
I've got as you know.
Should I be answering this to try to become a cop?
No.
That's why I would be taking this, to become a cop.
Here's the thing. I've read a lot of Cosmo, so I know psychology.
All right. I'm trying to be, from now on, for the rest of it, I'm trying to be a cop.
All right.
Yeah, think how a cop would answer.
Okay.
All right.
You got about 8 more, so think.
Here's
you can still get that job, Paul. You can still. You're right on the cusp right now.
All right. Here's one for Dale, and I know the answer is for this one. Almost every day, something happens to frighten me.
Not every day, but yeah, things frighten me. Absolutely.
What frightens you?
You go on calls where there's a fear element, someone with a knife, someone with a weapon.
But you, if you were taking this, it would be before you became a cop, or it would be now.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
you have to have fear. That in the military, that's the biggest thing. That I remember that question from the military, because if you are fearless, then you're going to be dangerous, and you're going to, be irresponsible with what you do, and then you're going to put everyone else in your unit. In harm's way, because you're just going to be, you're not going to even think of what you do. You're just going to go out there and just run right at the enemy. Just go right at them.
Right. So you're saying to be fearless, to not be frightened almost every day. That's the thing. Almost every day.
Yeah.
That's where it gets.
Yeah, it's the everyday thing. I'm not afraid every day. If I was, I'd be paranoid.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're trying to test you for. You're paranoid.
Yeah, that's a paranoia question.
So is that a true or false then from you? A false.
It's going to be false, but what they do with those they have other questions. They might reword that and say, I have some fear some of the times. Mm-hmm. So they ask, a lot of these questions are asked like 7 or 8 times, but they just word them just a little
really
bit
funny?
differently.
Let's say somebody like Paul Nardizzi took this test, and they came up with a certain psychological profile, but it turned out he was just bad at reading comprehension. Almost every day something happens to frighten me. Nathan?
I'll go with true, because there are days where, I try to push a fart and it feels a little too loose. I'm like, oh God, no. So yeah, I'd say there's always something to frighten me every day.
Yeah, I would say you would live your whole life in fear. Paul?
Well, now I'm trying to be a cop, so nothing. I'm not afraid of anything. If you call the police, okay, and someone's breaking in, who do you want coming in? Fearless Paul or a little scaredy cat Dale? And I disagree with your military thing. I've always thought this. I think that we should have an elite fighting unit of psychopaths. And just see what happens. Just send them out there.
Well, they do have them in other countries. They just strap a bomb on them and just go right in there. Get on that bus there, Junior. Go right in there. Go in there, Muhammad.
There isn't a mission they would turn down.
No, absolutely not.
All right, next question. People say insulting things to me. True or false, Nathan?
Can I rewrite that for today's?
No.
How about people say insulting things that hurt my feelings? That's a little bit more.
Hurt my feelings?
Yes, people hurt my feelings.
No way. Listen, that's going to be true. I know you guys.
Right,
you're all a bunch of...
I'm not going to rewrite the test then.
You're all a bunch of Hallmark...
It is true. Does it hurt my feelings? False. I don't have feelings. Those are for the weak.
Paul? People say insulting things to me.
Yes, they do. And I'm going to be a cop. I can handle it. I want the job.
All right. People say insulting things that hurt my feelings.
Yes, true.
True. Dale?
People say insulting things, yes, but they don't hurt my feelings because I'm with Nathan. I have no feelings. Completely stoic, sociopathic.
So the answer is the
You
same.
can fight in my battalion.